Live streaming is on.
Hi, good morning. Welcome back to Science. Um, we're talking about something today that's not glamorous, it's not sexy, um, but we need to talk about it. We're talking about the human body. So, um, we're talking about STIs today, sexually transmitted infections, also known as STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. Um, Let's talk about STIs, something nobody wants to talk about. Um, so, with the human sexual, and you know what? We've talked about the anatomy, right? We've talked about the parts. Today, we're going to talk about diseases from sexual activity, and we'll go on and we'll talk about the human sexual response, and then we'll go on. So, today, well, I guess you know what these are and you know why they're there. So let's go ahead and jump in. I don't really need to go into everything, but I do want to give you some information first. This is important. Um, where to go? There, because I always want you armed with information. So this is a link to the Monroe County Government Health Department, where we have sexual disease clinics, which are committed to providing high quality STD, HIV care to you in a non judgmental and a caring manner. We provide education about STDs and HIV and talk with you about ways to reduce risky sexual behavior and promote healthier choices. Many STDs and HIV are not curable, so prevention is the only medicine, and your health is our concern. This is a public health clinic, and your confidentiality is protected by public health laws. Everything you tell us is completely confidential. All services are free, and minors under the age of 18 do not need their parents' consent to be seen. This is the Bull's Head Plaza Clinic, 855 West Main. No appointments are needed. You can walk in. There is also an STD HIV control program on 111 Westfall. I don't know if you know about Trillium Health. They are one as well. Trillium on Monroe Avenue. And there's also a partner assist program, which tells you how to talk to your partners. Real important, right? Because it's about disclosure. Um, there's anonymous testing. There are phone numbers for all of these services. Take advantage um, and never be afraid. Never be afraid. So let's go here today and take a look. And as I said, I am not going to, let me see if I can blow this up for you, go through it all. But let's take a look at the first few and probably starting with, I don't know if this is starting with the most common, I would think possibly. I also want you to know that Monroe County, um, our county, Rochester, upstate New York, has some of the highest rates of STDs in the state and also in the country. So these things are very important. It's very important to know your body, know when your body is good, and know when your body is something, when there's something wrong. And when there's something wrong, you don't delay. As we talked about on Tuesday, some of these things can cause, um, well, can cause death, can cause um, other disease throughout the body, can cause infertility, can be contributed to causing cancer. So this is serious. So BV, which is very common in women, it is a bacterial infection which can cause discharge odor, pain, itching, and burning, you have to see a healthcare provider. The treatment is with antibiotics, and the prevention, abstinence, okay, from sexual activity with an infected person, and latex or polyurethane if you are allergic to latex, condoms. Next, we have chlamydia, bacterial again. Males and females will experience discharge from the reproductive organs, burning, and pain. It can cause irreversible damage, including infertility. Antibiotics are the cure. You must see a healthcare provider. You cannot buy over the counter medicine to treat it. Again, abstinence from sexual activity with an infected person and condoms. Then we have herpes. The thing about herpes is there are two types. Herpes type 1 generally causes cold sores on the mouth or lip, but it can also be found in the genital area from oral sex. Type 2 is generally found in the genital area, but can be found in the mouth from oral sex. The thought is that at least 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 2 people have herpes. You can be born with herpes, passed from the mother. You can get herpes from kissing, sharing utensils, glasses, things like that. Males and females will experience small, painful blisters around the genitals or cold sores on the mouth and lip. There is no cure for herpes. There are medications to relieve symptoms. You must see a healthcare provider. And again, abstinence treatment prevention, abstinence from sexual activity with an infected person. However, people can shed virus when they don't show symptoms, still have virus in their body, and be contagious. And herpes, even a condom, will provide limited protection, because if there is virus while they're shedding virus, you can still contract herpes. You don't have to see cold sores. The next one, and I'm going to let you read the others on your own, because look how many we have that we know of, right? Is HPV, human papilloma virus, or genital warts. It is caused by a virus. Males and females may experience warts on or in the genitals, but there may be no symptoms at all. It can cause certain types of cancer in the cervix and also in the penis. There is no cure. Sometimes the body will clear the infection naturally. There is treatment available. There is an HPV vaccine now that is recommended for children, which means that they never have to worry about those types of cancers. You must see a healthcare provider. A vaccine is available for certain strains, which again is the vaccine they give for kids starting, I believe, age 12, and a series of vaccines. And again, to avoid it, abstinence from sexual activity with an infected person. Condoms may provide limited protection. Then we will go on, as you know, gonorrhea. I hate when this does this. Let's see where we are. Gonorrhea, which is a bacterial infection. It can be treated with antibiotics. Complications include irreversible damage. Males and females can experience discharge and pain in the reproductive organs. Must see a healthcare provider to receive antibiotics to cure it. Protection would be latex, polyurethane condoms, and absence from sexual activity with an infected person. And we have hepatitis B. Hep B can cause irreversible liver damage. Males and females may experience flu-like symptoms and jaundice, which is a yellowing in the eyes. It is caused by a virus. There is no cure. You receive medications to relieve symptoms through a medical provider. Same prevention advice. Then we have HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, which can lead to AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which can affect all areas of the body. It is a virus. You will have flu symptoms at first, which will disappear, and then the other symptoms will appear once it becomes full blown. It can lead to cancers, infections, and eventually death. At this time, there is no cure, but there are medications which can improve the immune system, reduce the viral load all the way down to zero, to where you cannot affect others. So it is, when it is treated, a disease that we can live with, just like diabetes. Can't be afraid. Same preventions, most definitely. Testing. Know your status. Know your status, particularly if you have unprotected sex. You don't know the person, you don't know their history, right? That's the important thing. When you have sex, unprotected sex with someone, you're having it with all of their partners, recent partners or long-term partners. Then we have parasitic infections such as pubic lice, scabies. Then we have at the bottom, and those are treatable. Pubic lice are treatable over the counter. Scabies, you must see a medical provider. Syphilis is bacterial. It starts with a painless chancre sore, which can, untreated, can lead to irreversible damage, including death. Now let's talk about the Tuskey Experiment. Let's have a clear understanding of what took place there. There were medical providers in North Carolina that brought together subjects who already had syphilis. And they said, let's watch these people over a period of time to see how the disease progresses. It wasn't that they were given something that caused side effects, they were not treated at all. So, where we had already at the time treatment for the disease, these men were given no treatment, during which time they passed the disease on to partners who passed it on to newborn babies, and they had irreversible damage, blindness, severe physical symptoms, and up to death. Syphilis is treatable in stages 1 and 2. You must receive the treatment, however, through a medical provider, and again, the same preventions. And then finally, we have one commonly seen in women called Trichomonas, which is it's it's an organism, and there is a strong odor with discharge. Untreated, it can lead to serious complications. There is something called pelvic inflammatory disease, which can cause infertility and is painful. Again, treatment to cure through a medical provider. So, what would you do? Fill these out. Read this about HIV. Special note that there are some people with HIV who've never engaged in a risky behavior, such as children born with it, a hemophiliac, a person with a bleeding condition who got infected through tainted blood transfusion, or any other person needing a blood transfusion, a medical worker, or person infected through blood, and someone raped or abused. And should we treat people any differently? No, not as long as they're on medication, we're not in contact with blood or semen, and they're not a danger, because HIV cannot be transmitted through casual contact. So, how is it spread? We're going to stop here. Unprotected vaginal, anal, or oral sex with someone who has HIV, sharing blood, having blood to blood contact, sharing needles or syringes with someone who has HIV, or during pregnancy, birth, or breastfeeding. And the breastfeeding is a little, I'm not sure about current consensus on that or agreement on that one from a mother who has HIV. These are worksheets. You've got what? Answer keys. Wouldn't hurt you to take a look at them, whether for your own use and understanding or whether or not you see some of these questions on a future test. That's all. I always want information. I can protect myself if I'm informed. That's how I operate in this world. That's all we have for today. I will see you next week. Be well. Take care.